Hey guys, so I'm getting ready to pull the 416 out of the cuda. Got the motor pretty well ready to come out. Got the headers unhooked and everything. They've been unhooked for a while actually, but I haven't had time to mess with it because we've had our ice cream social for our fire department. We had it Saturday, so all week we were getting ready for that, so I've been busy doing that stuff and haven't had time to work on the cuda. But we're going to get this 416 out. Going to put the numbers matching 340 back in the car. We're also, keep in mind today is Monday. We're leaving, I'm taking the car up Friday to the Mopar Nationals. Me and my son Easton are going to drive it to the Mopar Nationals. It's only a 2-hour drive. In the past, whenever we've gone up, I usually go, instead of going, we live in Marietta, so it's like a 2-hour drive, but instead of going 77 north to 70, I go down to Athens, and then I take 33 north up to Lancaster, however you want to say it. Some people, we call it Lancaster but locals over there call it Lancaster, up to there, and then I take 37, and 37 will put me straight at the Mopar National Trails Raceway. So 37 runs straight to 40, then you take a left. But anyway, this thing's got 391 gears in it, and it's got a pretty stout transmission in it, 727. It's got some work done to it. It's got a PTC converter. It's got a 3800 stall converter in it right now, with the 416. We're going to yank the 416 out, put the 340 back in it. It's the numbers matching original motor for the car. And if we have time, we're going to take the 391 gears out. We have another third member with 323 gears. So the car originally was ordered with 355 shear grip, but I don't even know what happened to the 355s, to be honest with you. But we're going to put the 323s back in it. Got to change the universal joint. The rear universal joint's got some slop in it. We got to change it, and make sure the 340 is still good to go. I mean, that motor's stupid clean. It's a good motor. In fact, that motor still had the original water pump on it. So we went ahead and we reused it. The 416 water pump, it was an aftermarket one. Not sure if it was starting to leak or the gasket, but it was starting to drip some antifreeze. So we're going to throw the original Mopar Chrysler water pump on this 340 here and just make the cuda driver. There's no sense in having this 416 in the cuda. I mean, this car runs 13s with the 416 and the 391 gears, which in this day and age, that's not fast. Let's be realistic. That's not fast at all in this day and age. So there's no sense in having that motor in this car. So we're putting this car back to kind of a cool cruiser driver. We can run, I've done it, we can run 70, 75 mile an hour, but she starts getting a little warm. Not really warm, just hotter than it normally runs because we're turning so many RPMs. So we try keeping it like right around 55, 60 mile an hour, and it loves it there. So get this 340 in. Now this 340, it's bone stock. It's still standard bore. Put new head gaskets, oil pan gaskets, all new gaskets throughout the motor. We tore it down to pretty much the short block. It's got new timing chain, double roller. This motor, I don't know how many miles is on the motors, but this motor, the car's got 119, but the 416's been in it for 20 years. So, and I can't remember how many miles were on it when the 416 went in the car or whatever. But anyway, this 340, I'm gonna have to go out on a limb and say it's been rebuilt some time ago, because, and it probably don't have very many miles on it either, honestly, because the valley on the motor was spotless clean. It still had cross hatches in the cylinders, and it don't have no ring ridge or anything like that. I mean, the motor's stupid clean. It's got the stock rods, and it appears to have the stock pistons in it. But put the Mopar Performance valve covers off the 416 on it, and then of course we put the 6-barrel setup on it as well. We have the original intake, the original 4-barrel, the original 4-barrel carburetor, and the dual snorkel air cleaner and everything for the car. And we still have the original power bulge hood for the car. But instead of, we probably should have put the 4-barrel setup back on it with the dual snorkel air cleaner and put the power bulge hood back on it, because we're going to put the car up for sale this year. Honestly, don't know why, but we're going to put it up for sale this year at the Mopar Nationals. Dad seemed to think that it'd be better with the shaker setup and the 6-barrel setup than with the 340 in it. Well, I mean, with the power bulge hood. The power bulge hood is painted as well. We could bolt the hood on the car and it'd match. And we could put the 4-barrel. We have everything to put the 4-barrel setup back on the car, but Dad wanted to leave the 6-pack setup on it, so that's what we're going to do. What's really cool is I really didn't have to rob any parts from the 416. The oil filter adapter, for those of you Mopar guys know, you got to have the 90-degree oil filter adapter for the oil filter. Both motors, the 416 had one on it when the block was purchased, and then the 340, it still had it on it. So we painted it back to Chrysler corporate blue. We were going to go orange, but I think the blue looks better. But it's kind of messed up, so used two different cans of paint that I had laying around on the 340, and some parts are lighter than others. The block's kind of dark, the oil pan's kind of light, but it is what it is. I mean, the cuda's, it's not a show car, it's just a driver. I mean, we take it to shows, but we don't expect to win any trophies or anything like that. But here is the numbers matching 340 for the car. It's all ready to go back in it. I mean, you really can't tell there's a shade difference, but plus it's going to be down in a car. I think it'll be fine. I don't think anyone's really going to notice it. There is two different colors on the motor. I mean, I don't know. If they do, they do. There's nothing we can do about it. I mean, it's done and over with. The 340, once it goes in it, it's staying in it. I'll actually be showing you guys the dart. We have a 71 dart swinger too. It's a factory 318 auto car. It's small bolt pattern, drum brakes. I can't remember if that car's got power steering or not. It's at my storage building. I actually haven't seen a car for a year. We got it. I traded a 69 340 that I had for this car, and it's missing. It's got all the trim pieces and everything. Car's pretty solid. It needs a lower quarter on the driver's side. The floor pans, the front halves, they should probably be cut and replaced. They got a couple pinholes. I'm going to say that the washer, or the wiper washer, damn it, the wiper arm bushings are leaking like they all do, because it looks like you can see where the water was running down the firewall to the front floor pans. Pretty common thing with A-bodies. Actually, I think it's pretty common with all Mopars. But the 416, I'm going to be bringing it home here after a bit. I want to get this motor out, and then I got to make a trip to Charleston, West Virginia to pick up my daughter. She's with her friend. But the 416, we have a built 727 for it. We got another PTC converter for it. It's going into the Dart. We got big bolt pattern for it. Well, we got big bolt pattern spindles and rotors and everything for the front of the Dart. We got an A-body 8 3/4 rear end. And the initial plan was to take the 391 gears out of the cuda and put them into the Dart, because the Dart's kind of going to be the play toy, because it's a dang nice car. I mean, well, I won't lie to you. You guys be the judge of that. But the car is really solid. The car was painted. I don't know why somebody did it, but so the car was originally like a tan gold. I think it's butterscotch. I don't know if they still call it butterscotch in 71. But the car was gold and had green interior in it. Did that car have green interior? I don't know. I'll have to look. Like I said, I traded my 69 340 for this car. It's missing a front seat and carpet. Other than that, all the interior's there. The car's complete other than that. 318 two-barrel car. But I traded my 69 340 that I had for it. I was going to put that into my white 73 4-speed Dart Sport. But that motor had 13.5 to 1 compression, and I wanted to drive the Dart, my Dart Sport, my 4-speed car. I wanted to drive it on the street. So I ended up getting rid of that motor. Long story short, my other buddy ended up with the motor from the guy that I traded the Dart to. He bought them 340 off of him, and now it's in a 68 Barracuda, and he's running it on the street. That and wasn't too crazy about the cam. That car there, that motor there, that 69 340, I think it had the purple camshaft in it. So I was going to change that, and then I ended up putting a 360 into the Dart Sport. So that's why I got rid of the 69 340. It was brand new, 30 over. But that's this Dart. We're going to put the 416 in it, the 727. We're going to put the 391s out of the cuda. That was the initial plan. Take the 391 gears out of the cuda, put in a Dart, because the Dart's just going to be a play toy. I don't even think we'll paint it, to be honest with you. I got brand new brake lines front to rear for the Dart actually already. I got them left over from my Dart Sport. I never use them on my Dart Sport, but they're hanging up here. There's the axle brake lines. Then that's the front to rear. I got new rubber hoses, and I got the front master cylinder lines and everything else. But we're going to put the brake lines, go big bolt pattern on the Dart. We're going to take my weld RTSs. I got a set of polished black. Well, they're the RTSs, and they're polished with the black. We're going to put those on the Dart. The fronts are 17 by 4. The rears, I'm not sure if they're going to fit. My Dart swinger, I'm tucking. So my 70 or the 71 Dart, or my 73 Dart swinger, I am tucking. It's got American Racing torque thrust on it, with BFGs on it. I am tucking a 255 under the rear of that thing, and for a dark swinger that don't have air shocks and the tire's seriously tucked, it don't rub. And I think those wheels were, I want to say a 5-inch back spacing, I think is what I have on those. I think is what it is. I don't know. But anyway, it tucks 255s on the back of it. So my welds, my RTSs, the rears have got a 281050 on it. But I don't know if they'll tuck or not. We may not need them to tuck because we do have a set of super stock leaf springs off of a Duster. One of our friends' Duster, they put all Hotchkiss suspension stuff on it, and so they took the super stock leaf springs off of it, and we got them. But we'll see. I think the car would look cool, really, really good with a set of 15. I think those welds are 15 by 8 in the rear, and then the fronts are 17 by 4.5, I think is what they are, or 17 by 5. But that'll probably be the first thing I do, is see if I can't get those wheels on there. But I want to get the CUDA motor and tranny yanked, put back in today. I can't work on it all day, though, is the only issue, because I was wanting to yank the motor and trans out of the Dart Swinger, the 318 out of it, and throw the 727 and the 416 right back into the Dart and get the Dart going as well. Like to get it going and I'll drive the Dart to the Mopar Nationals. We already got exhaust for the Dart. We got 3-inch exhaust with Flowmasters. We got a brand new set of headers for the car. We literally have pretty much everything for that car. And obviously I wouldn't put the stickies on it with the rear end that's in the car now. Wait a minute, does that car got an 8 3/4? I don't know, I'm getting old. 318 car, that should have a 8 3/4 in it already. 71. Huh, I'll have to look. I wasn't even thinking that. I don't know why we got another 8 3/4 rear end then. I don't know, anything that we find here lately, we've just been buying up just to have. But this 8 3/4 housing that we got it from our other friend, and I called him, and I was just talking to him, and I was like, what all stuff you got left over? Because he had a really nasty, some of you guys gone to the Mopar Nationals, you may have seen it. It was a sassy grass green. It was actually a dark sport, but he put a Duster front end on the car. He had the wedge grill. He has a shark tooth grill in it. And it said 451 wedge. It had the black stripe, and then it said 451 wedge, but he had a spare 8 3/4 rear end that he sandblasted. It was just the bare housing. He sandblasted it, painted it, and everything else, and he never ended up putting it in his Dart because he narrowed his a little bit. And I was like, what all stuff you got left? He's like, oh, I got a little bit of stuff left over. Heck, he gave me a bunch of 4-speed stuff, 4-speed rods, and he gave me that 8 3/4 rear end housing. I asked him if he wanted any money for it, and he said no. But speaking of shark tooth grills, I've had this thing for a while now. A couple of the fins are busted, it's got some cracks, and someone painted it black, but I just been holding off on getting rid of it. I don't know why. I guess someday I'm hoping to get a Duster again. But there's my shark tooth grill. The last Duster I had was a 70 plum crazy purple 340 car, a 4-speed car. It had a 6-pack hood scoop on it, and it was all blacked out. It had, Dad says I bent the push rod on it, but I don't think I did. I think it was bent before we got the car. But I mean, I did rev it. It had a crane, old school. It had an old school crane Fireball cam in it. It sounded pretty good. It had 391s in it too, 4-speed. It had aluminum slots, and it had 50s in the rear. But that car was ratty, but it was fun to drive. But we pulled the motor out of it, and lo and behold, I ended up parking the car out just because it was so ratty. And that was, heck, I was 16, 17 years old at the time when I had that Duster. And looking back now, we should have never, in this day and age, that car would never have been parted because it was original H-code car. So it was originally a 7340 4-speed car. And knowing what we do now, I bet you I could have sold that car right now for like $13,000. It wasn't even really that bad. It needed full quarters, and the torsion bar cross member was a little soft. When I say soft, I mean it had holes in it. So, I mean, it was kind of rough, but it was fun. I love driving that car. I drove that car to school, to high school. It was ratty though. It had dumps on it and glass packs. So it sounded like a 4-wheel drive truck coming down the road. I hated it. And it was loud. I'd say they were blowing out, but it sounded good. So, no. What's she doing here? Ashley, my girlfriend, just showed up. I wonder what she's doing. What are you doing here? Huh? Oh.
I'm on check on cruise and I need a charger.
Oh, we're on YouTube.
Oh, hi.
So, okay. Well, I'm just doing my YouTube video thing, getting ready to pull the motor out of the cuda.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Yeah.
By yourself?
Always. I do everything by myself.
Yeah,
You should know better than that. I like your leggings, though. Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work here. And get this motor out of this car. And I really do got to go get that car today, that Dart. I need to get it out of the storage building, but I got to go pick my daughter up at 4 in Charleston. Well, not Charleston. Ripley Fairplane exit, so it's like an hour drive one way. So, but stay tuned. Get this motor out and get the numbers matching motor back in it and get it ready. And me and Easton are going to drive it to the Mopar Nationals on Friday is the plan. So we'll make sure and we'll take videos of that because it might be rather interesting. This 340 hasn't been in this car for, I don't know, 30 years, 20 years. 2017, or no, I lied. 2017, that was just a few years ago. The tags expired in 2017. We had bought this car, it had been sent for like, I think the last time it was tagged and licensed on the road was 2017, 2016. Who we bought this car from, this guy, and had been sitting in his garage, like I said, for I think he said he bought it in 97, 98, I think is when he bought it. Anyway, it was late. We'll just say 2000. So, and as soon as he bought it, he yanked the 340 out because he was scared of hurting the numbers matching motor, which that's awesome. And then he bought this 340 off of our friend. This is a 72 340. So this 340 is actually date coded to the car, but it came out of our friend's Challenger. This guy we know pulled this motor out of his Challenger to put a big block in it. The guy that we got the cuda from, he bought it, and then that's when he had it built and did the 416. And he was going to do a 408, but he decided to do the 416. But that motor hasn't been ran for a long, long time. Since the late 90s, I'd say. But like this car was sitting in the garage, covered in dust. So they're still out there. You just got to find them. But anyway, somebody, local guy here, I'm not going to say his name. He offered the guy that we got this car from, he offered him $10,000 for this cuda. okay? So let's just sit back and think about that for a minute. It's a 72 cuda. It came with the numbers matching 340. It's got the original tranny. The car was restored in the late 90s. So it's not perfect by any means, but it's a dang good looking car. And when they restored it, they went through, and I mean, this thing has got the factory clips for the hoses, the spring clips. It's still got those on it. It's got a, I'll show it to you here in a minute, but it's got a Mopar battery. The hoses, when they got them, they made sure to get the, you can't, Mopar hoses for the car. It's got all stainless brake lines, stainless fuel lines. But anyway, and the car's got 2 fender tags, so it's a high option car. But anyhow, a gentleman offered the guy that we bought the car from $10,000 for this car. $10,000 for 72 cuda with 2 motors, 2 hoods, 2 intakes, all the original parts for the car, plus the shaker setup alone. I mean, the shaker setups alone are selling for good money right now. Just the intake, I mean, last I looked, it's been a few years ago. I think the intakes were around like $700 just for the intake. The most expensive part is the shaker assembly itself with the hood. So the hood is an OEM hood. The shaker assembly is aftermarket. It's not OEM. But yeah, he offered him $10,000 for this car. And this car is one of those things where it wasn't for sale, but if you had the cash, he'd sell it. And luckily for us, we knew what the car's worth. And we gave him more than $10,000 for the car. It kind of sucked because we were hoping to get the car Saturday, but Dad didn't make it to the bank in time because he had to go to the branch downtown because the branch he went to didn't have that kind of cash or whatever. So he went to the downtown bank. Well, that bank closed at noon, so he couldn't pull the money out of his savings account to buy the cuda. So then we had to wait until Monday. Now it was Saturday. So the car sat there all weekend, and it was, technically our car, but we hadn't paid for it yet. But it just sucked because we couldn't start working on it or doing anything to it. We got it, and we've done a lot of cleaning to the car. We buffed it out. The car's actually ceramic coated as well. But I don't know. I'm going to get off here and get to work and get this motor out and get the new motor in. So I'll see you guys here soon. Hopefully the 340 will be sitting in its place and tranny be bolted up. And yeah, no, I doubt it. And there's the siren for me to go to a call possibly. It's the volunteer fire department. I'm a member of that. It's right next door. So I'll talk to you guys later. Well, I think the 416 wants to come out because I've never in my life had a motor come out this easy before. I'm telling you what, this thing just, I spoke a little soon, but usually I take off this oil filter adapter here. It's kind of messing me on the headers, and being one person, I can hold the motor like that, but I can't crank it. So I'm hoping I can twist it around and crank it up where I need to go. But I started lifting the motor, got the motor mounts up off the purchase, grabbed the hold of the rocker arm, the head, wiggled it a little bit, it popped, come forward, I pulled the engine hoist back that way, lifted it up, and it's already out and loose. I mean, that was just like, that there's textbook. That's how every motor should come out. You shouldn't have to fight with anything whatsoever. So wait a minute here though. That means when the motor goes back in, it's probably gonna fight me. Yep, that's exactly what that means. it's not going to go back together really easy. It's going to fight me, but that's okay because we'll still get it figured out. But here it is. It's coming out.